Welcome to our Tactical Tuesday, everybody. Excited to be here tonight because we have some awesome guests that will be appearing on our Tactical Tuesday, and we're talking about something that affects every single one of us. It affected Tiffany and I when we first got started, and not at just the beginning. Throughout our investing career, it's affected us, and it has affected many that we're going to talk to tonight. But some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight are our fears. What holds us back? What holds us back from investing in real estate? What holds us back from raising capital? What holds us back from getting, reaching where we want to go when it comes to financial security, when it comes to investing in real estate? And so, a lot of the times, one of the things that we've noticed in a lot of investors is that we hold ourselves back. We have certain mind blocks or fears, and so tonight we're going to talk about that, but also ways to overcome them. And that's the really cool part, is that there's simple techniques that work and that help us to overcome those. And we're going to hear some real life experiences from some real investors, some of our Ignited members that I don't think we've ever had any of them on our Tactical Tuesday before. And if we have, I apologize, but I don't think we have. And so they're new to being on here, and they're nervous, guys, but it's going to be fun. We're going to do a little bit of an interview with them and find out where they were and what has helped them to get where they are today. Okay, so it's going to be really exciting, guys. As you come on, say hello and let me know where you're from. I want to know who's on, and I want a little bit of feedback tonight as we go through this information, guys, to know what fears are there for you. Maybe some of the ones that we're going to talk about tonight are different for you. Maybe you have something that is holding you back that we're not going to talk about tonight. So if you do, throw it in the chat. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure that you can get over that stumbling block or over that thing that is holding you back from maybe buying an investment property. Maybe it's holding you back from raising capital to buy an investment property. Whatever it is, we want each of you that are watching this broadcast to be able to move forward, to get closer to your goals, and to get over those things that hold us back. Okay, awesome. I see some in the chat now. Leo from Calgary. Leo has been all over the place traveling. I've seen your posts, Leo, in our group, in our Ignited group, and all over Facebook. So you're back. You're in Calgary. So you've made it back. We have Franco Lee from Calgary, Sharon from Toronto, Cape Breton is here, Halifax. We got Quebec, all across the country. So that's really cool. Jules put it in the chat, guys, about giving StreamYard your permission so that we can see your name. So it's very easy to do. You just go to streamyard.com/Facebook. You allow them permission, and then we can see your name in the chat, because sometimes we can't see it unless you give the permission. All right. Yes, you made it back in one piece. That's awesome, Leo. I hope you had a great time riding your bike. That looked amazing. I'm jealous. Okay. So tonight, guys, fears. What fears do you have? Throw it in the chat. What has held you back from investing at some point? Or what is holding you back from investing or buying your next piece of real estate? Is there something holding you back? Do you have a fear? Now, let me just name some really quick. Fear of interest rates, fear of signing too many mortgages, getting in debt, fear of being rejected by the banks or by a potential partner, or maybe, fear of even making a phone call to a realtor because, you just don't know what kind of conversation you're going to have. Are they going to want you as a client? Do you have a fear that everyone else can do it, but maybe not me? A fear of, and we're going to go through some of these things individually, but I'm just throwing them all out there right now because these are very common things. Fear that, well, I don't have the money to be able to do it, or I don't have the credit right now to be able to qualify for a mortgage, or I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't have experience. These are all things that hold us back, guys. What about a fear of buying the wrong property? Maybe I'm not analyzing things correctly. Um, Maybe I have a fear of, um, let me think, I'm not educated enough. I have a fear that I don't know enough people yet. Or I have a fear of getting to know other people, maybe a fear of networking and growing my circle. These are all things, guys, that hold us back from taking that next step when it comes to real estate investment, taking that next step when it comes to growing our team around us so that we do have the support that we need. And so, really, tonight's training is practical things that we can do to overcome these fears. We're going to hear experiences from 3 different Ignited members. We're going to be talking to Craig and Lisa O'Casey. We're going to be talking to Karen Brinklow, and we're going to be talking to Samir, all from different parts of the country. All have different experiences. And I think all of them may have had different fears when they first got started, or fears recently that they have overcome. And so we're going to hear those experiences, which I think will be very, very beneficial. Every single one of us can learn from somebody else's experience, and hopefully you can pick up one little gem here or another little gem there that you can put into practice. And now I'm looking at the chat, guys. I see interest rates was mentioned. Yes, lack of confidence. That is something that holds us back. Crystal, being responsible for losing money for a partner. Absolutely. Someone else's money might be more scary to lose that. It should be more scary to lose that than to lose our own money. Same thing, need he is saying as well, a fear of losing parents' hard-earned money. Here's a good one. Fear of, I don't know what I don't know. So what am I missing here? And sometimes if we are, if we don't even know what we should know, then that can definitely hold us back when it comes to investing in real estate. Jupita, losing money due to the deal, lack of knowledge, and maybe knowing our numbers properly. Absolutely, that's a huge fear that can hold us back of buying our next property. Joanne started a new job recently. It's very detail oriented, still missing details that I should be noticing. So I have a fear of missing a detail that makes a costly mistake. Yes, real estate, when you're buying a thing of value that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially millions of dollars, a small mistake could still be thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So a fear of making a mistake. Here we go. Fear of getting over leveraged. Absolutely. Getting over leveraged. That could be a fear. So lots of fears, guys, that you've shared in the chat, and these are all normal. Okay. So that's one thing I want to make very, very clear here is that every single one of us, I don't care who you are. Tiffany and I had fears. Our mentors, when they got started, had fears. And I would say anybody that's gotten into real estate investment at some point has had worries or fears about some aspect of it. And here's the difference. The difference is they got over it. The difference is you, whatever your fear might be, can get over it. So, for example, losing money due to the deal, not knowing your numbers. Can you get over that? How do you get over that? Make sure that you do your numbers correctly. Run your numbers by other investors. Get other investors' opinions on those numbers and make sure, can you still make a mistake? Yes. But you can be confident enough to still move forward if you're getting the opinions of others, professionals that have done this before, investors that have done this before, having that group around you for support. That's just one example of a fear and how to get over it. Something that is very practical in talking to others and getting their opinions can get us over some of these fears. And that's really what this whole group is about. That's why we call it Fearless Real Estate Investors, guys, because we want to lessen the fear that you have. It's not going to go away 100%, and that's okay, but it could be less. than what it is now, and enough to move you forward to buying your next investment property. Okay, awesome. So let's quickly, or let's, well, we're not going to go super quick, but I want to run through, I blasted through some of the fears, but let's just concentrate a little bit on them now for a few minutes, because these are the top ones that we have seen. When it comes to establishing a relationship with our realtor, when it comes to establishing relationships with potential partners, with banks or bankers or a mortgage broker, establishing relationships with potential tenants, all of those types of things that a lot of investors have is fear of rejection. They're not going to want to work with me. I don't know enough yet. What if they say no? How am I going to react when they say no? I'm going to feel terrible when they say no. When I get rejected for a mortgage, I'm going to feel terrible. All of these things, because we might get rejected by one or some more of those people that I just mentioned, can hold us back, a fear of rejection. This was one of mine getting going. Okay, so many of you have heard this before, and we share this experience in boot camp, but I'm going to share it again because I think it's valuable. And this experience is of a baseball player that all of you know about, and his name is Babe Ruth. Now, I don't follow baseball. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I've heard of Babe Ruth, and I'm sure that most of you have. Now, he was known for one thing at his time. He had the most home runs of any baseball player in history. Okay, and he held that record for quite some time. Most home runs. He was the most successful baseball player of his time, we could say. Okay, he hit that ball more and hit it better than any other baseball player in history up to his point. Okay, you get where I'm going with this. Very successful. But what else do we know about Babe Ruth? And for those of you that have heard this before, throw it in the chat, because this is very, very important, that he also held another record. Okay, and I'm going to give you a minute to throw it in the chat for those of you that have heard this story before, and I know many of you have. What other record was he, let's say, less known for? We're talking about Babe Ruth. Okay, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Awesome. He was also the king of strikeouts. Most strikeouts. That's right, Franco. So that's exactly. He wasn't known for it, but he had more strikeouts than any other baseball player in history. People remember that? No. Most people don't remember that. Most people remember the good that he did, not the fact that he failed that many times. But think about this for a second. When he goes up to bat, he has missed that ball more than any other baseball player in history. Okay, think about that. And like, to strike out, you're missing it more than once, right? Like, you're missing it. Wham. Okay, I missed it. Okay, I'm gonna give this another shot. Wham. Okay, I missed it again. Uh, I missed it again. Think about that. He had more strikeouts. He failed more than anybody else. He was, we could say, rejected. He received a no more than any other baseball player in history. But did that stop him from swinging the bat? No, didn't. He kept swinging, even though he was rejected, even though he received a no, even though he struck out. And that lesson, guys, I want you to remember it, because when it comes to raising capital, when it comes to establishing relationships with other professionals or other investors in this industry, you will strike out. Some of them may not want to work with you, and that's okay. Some of them may say to you, no, we can't get you a mortgage for that property. Some of them may say, you know what, I might partner, but not right now. Some of them might say, no, I don't want to partner with you on this project or any other project. You might hear no's, but here's the key. Just like Babe Ruth, you guys can keep swinging that bat. And when you keep swinging that bat, you can also reach the levels of success that Babe Ruth reached. He became the number one hitter of all time when it came to home runs. He hit more home runs than anybody. Why? Because he got over a fear of no. He got over the fear of rejection. He kept going even though he was striking out. Okay, so that's one lesson that I want you guys to take to heart. And when times get tough, when you do hear those no's, I want you to remember that example. And there's more examples we can go on. We don't have the time tonight to go through them. We're going to be going through more of this, guys, at our boot camp coming up on October 21st weekend. Hopefully you've signed up for that. I'll just throw that in there now, that our early bird pricing of only $27 ends tonight. After that, it goes to $67. Obviously, you can still join anytime before it starts, but early bird ends tonight at $27. So if you're joining us, join us. Okay, getting back to this fear of rejection. We've talked about that. I'm going to talk about a couple others here, guys, and then we're going to bring on our guests. A fear that everyone else can do it, but I can't. Now, let's just stop and think about that. Have you been in a group setting or at a networking event or at a real estate event, and you see the success of others? You see that so-and-so has bought this property, or so-and-so has raised this amount of capital. And what's maybe some of the first things that come to your mind? Well, they can do it, but I probably can't. Okay, that is a fear that a lot of people have. Why? Because maybe they don't have the good credit rating. Maybe they don't have the money to buy. Maybe they're too young, they're too old. Maybe they don't have the experience. Who's going to invest with me if I've never done this before? These are normal fears to have. But tonight, we're going to show you some examples of those that have had these fears and how they got over it. And by looking at other examples of success, that's what helps us to get past that. For example, Tiffany and I didn't have the greatest credit. We did not have the money. We did not have the experience. We felt like we were too young. We were in our early 20s. And we had all the excuses. And I know there's more. Don't get me wrong. I know that other people are in more difficult position than we were at the time. But we could have used any of those excuses, and I call them excuses because that's what they are, to say, no, I'm not going to do it, but somebody else can. Or, you know what, maybe we should just hold off and look at, let's look at that shiny new adventure over there instead of getting involved in real estate, which is one of the top places to get involved as far as earning money is concerned. So the point is that if others can do it, if others can get over some of those things that I just talked about, you can too, guys. You can. Okay. And we're going to look at some experiences tonight. What about the fear of buying the wrong property? I bought it in the wrong neighborhood. I bought it in the wrong market. I bought the wrong style of property, or I didn't crunch the numbers correctly. All of those things, guys, those fears, are those easy to get over? Yes, they're very easy to get over. We're going to show you in our boot camp how to analyze a market, how to pick the right neighborhood, how to pick the right property in that neighborhood, how to analyze the property correctly so that you know what your cash flow is. It going to cash flow? Yes or no? You're going to know that in advance before you buy the property. This is not something that you just guess at, but you can do a lot of research and figure these things out. And we're going to talk about that on our boot camp. And actually, we're going to be doing stuff a little bit different at this boot camp. We're going to be getting you to do some homework before boot camp starts, okay? And we're going to get you to start analyzing a specific property before boot camp starts. And then we're going to get your opinion on whether this is a property that we should be looking at or not looking at. So going through this, what does it take? Education. You can easily educate yourself for free or for very inexpensive amounts of money to make sure that those fears are taken care of and pushed to the side. And one other fear that we're going to talk about before we bring on our guests is a fear of networking. And I noticed, guys, that the chat has slowed down a little bit. So I want you to throw in there if any of these that I've talked about make sense to you, or any of these is one that you have had. Have you had fears when it comes to investing in real estate? Throw that in the chat. But fear of networking. One of the things that makes successful real estate investors successful is networking with other investors. And this ties in with everything that we've been talking about so far. But, some people say, well, I'm too busy to network, or I'm too shy to network. I'm too shy to meet other investors. Maybe some of you on here tonight, I notice we have 44 with us right now live. Maybe some of you are too shy to comment in the comments right now. That's normal. Okay. These things happen. And in our boot camp, we're going to show you very easy ways to get over that shyness. Yes, you are supposed to be fearless. I'm not sure who said that. Exactly what this group is designed towards is to help you reduce the amount of fear when it comes to investing in real estate. And guys, this is okay. Well, Sarah, you're thank you for sharing that, Sarah. Networking fear was a big one for me. I was so shy I couldn't speak to myself. So for those of you that know Sarah, I would say, Sarah, you are not shy whatsoever person. But I get it. Networking and putting yourself out there is very fearful for many of you. So that is totally normal. Okay. So guys, we're gonna now, we've talked about some of our fears, and hopefully some of those you guys can identify with. We're gonna now bring on some of our interviewees tonight, and I told them beforehand that I would surprise them as to who would be brought on first, second, and third. So they really don't know, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start first of all with Karen. So let's bring Karen on. Karen, welcome to our show tonight.
Thanks, Corey. I knew you were going to do that.
Okay.
It happens to me every time.
Yes. Well, Karen, I know that, when I asked you about coming on, you said you would be nervous about coming on. Maybe that's one of your fears is putting, being out there in front of a whole bunch of people. That's a normal fear to have, but you're here. So congratulations.
Thanks. I just said, oh, what the heck?
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Okay. So Karen, let me ask you a question. Did you ever feel, no, let's start at the beginning. How long ago was it that you first of all came into, got into real estate investment, or started getting into the whole circles of real estate investment? How long ago would that have been for you?
Just over a year ago, July 2021.
Okay. July 2021, you kind of opened your horizons towards real estate investment. Is that roughly when you joined our group here in Fearless?
I can't remember. I think it might have been about 4 or 5 months into my first step.
Okay.
When I came across you guys as well.
Okay, awesome. Did you ever feel like when you started entering this circle, when you started talking to other investors, seeing what other people are doing, did you ever feel like that, well, maybe others could do it, but that maybe it wasn't your thing? Or were you super confident that this is something you could do?
Oh, good question. I wasn't super confident, but I'd always had a passion, I guess, for real estate, and didn't realize it because I, like everybody, watch decorating shows and think that would be fun. But I knew, and all kidding aside, I knew that there was a way to use equity somehow. I just didn't know how that next step would work. So it was kind of frustrating for me. And I was scared that I would fail because I didn't know enough, and I would look like, I don't know how to put it. I would look like I wasn't where I belonged.
Okay. You would look out of place, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So fear. So let me just summarize what you said. Would you say your main fear or your top couple fears were fear of losing money,
Mhm.
and maybe fear of losing face in front of those others that know what you're doing?
That's a great way to summarize. Yes, fear of
Okay.
losing money because I am a risk taker. I'm a calculated risk taker.
Okay.
So I have made some risks in the past that looked like they would be good, and they just didn't pan out, even though I was successful to a certain point.
Yeah.
Then it didn't go the way it should have. So I was really scared of that happening again.
Okay. Okay. So, what would you say? So, let's now fast forward because I know you've had a success lately. And
Mhm.
so now we've talked about your fears. Now let's fast forward. You've had a success. And what success did you recently announce in our Ignited, one of our Ignited posts that was a success for you?
I have a commitment for a new JV financial partner, and that's the first time.
Okay, amazing, amazing. So that's, to go from fear of losing money and fear of losing face to now having a commitment from a financial partner. uh there's a long journey involved there.
Yeah.
And so first of all, congratulations. Does it
Thank
feel
you.
good?
Oh my gosh. I'm still not sleeping.
Okay, that's amazing. I love it. And there's a lot of people on here that feel like, that bringing on a financial partner would be, way too difficult for them, or it's something that they can't do. Um, did you feel that at any point?
Uh, yes, and it came about an interesting way because I really focused on networking and learning.
Okay.
um, because I wanted to make some other of my own investments first to get that out of the way and get some stuff working. But then I knew in order to get to a level that I still want to get to, that it was going to require other people and other people's money.
Yeah.
So I tried to get to know as much as I could at first, and then talk to a lot of people about their experiences. And I had this um, few words rolling around in my head for a couple of months. And I thought, why does this keep coming up? And it was networking for newbies of all things. And so I sat down one morning and thought, why is this happening? So I was a teacher, a high school teacher. So I started writing down, thinking, okay, if I was going to teach that to somebody, what would I teach them? And I wrote all the things out, I thought. And I thought, oh, I have enough posts here to last a year. So then the next step was, how can I help people? And I saw the struggles people were talking about with networking. And even though that was a fear of my own, having the computer and the Zoom connection was much easier for me.
Mhm.
So I made a post about it, thinking that that'll help some people. I'll post in a month or so. Well, that blew up, and I had a lot of response, and people thought I was starting a group. So I ended up doing a Zoom call. I've done two since. The first three people that have reached out to me to talk about opportunities came from those groups.
Amazing, amazing.
And the first one who was committed to me came from the very first one.
Amazing. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. So you got out of your comfort zone and did something that you weren't super comfortable with, which was
Mhm.
networking.
Mhm.
And here you go. You now have a commitment from a JV partner. So that is awesome. So I think I know the answer to this, but let me just ask it anyway. What was the biggest, if you could put your finger on it, the biggest difference from what took you where you were to where you are now? If you
Mhm.
would sum it up in a sentence, what was the biggest difference for you to move forward and confirm a JV partner? What brought you there?
Oh, Hmm.
Or let me rephrase that.
Harder to
What
put it in one sentence.
over the fears? What was the biggest thing that got you over your fears in the very beginning?
Okay. Not being in a rush to own a door.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I wanted to, I wasn't sure where my best strategy was going to be.
Yeah.
And then making the effort to get to know as many people as I could and just reaching out on Facebook and asking them if I could learn from them and would they be interested in speaking to me, because I was curious about learning different things and different people's strategies and paths. And I think that was the biggest thing that changed, because within all of that, and it didn't happen overnight with the other person that I am working with, who is my investor partner, who has complementary skill sets and different experience. And it was through all of that time that we discovered we should work together.
Yeah.
So I guess
Amazing.
that answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, so first of all, I want to say congratulations. You got over your initial fears. You have now networked. You now have a group of people around you. You know a lot of other investors.
Mhm.
Um, any fears you might have about running numbers correctly or whatever, you have other people you can run these things by. So you kind of got out there, and I think networking was really and increasing your network was the key to going from the beginning to where you are now and actually securing a JV partner.
Most definitely. And it was being in a within a group of like-minded people for, I'm going to say, the very first time in my life, because it was like shooting fish in a barrel, meeting people who were all on the same pathway, wanting to do the same thing with similar goals and values and that. And it was really hard not to like everyone or find something that I felt like I found my people, is probably the best way to put it.
Amazing. Well, we're happy that you found Ignited. We're happy that you are one of our people, and thank you for joining us. Congratulations on where you're going. And I know this isn't the end for you, Karen. I know you have lots of other plans. And so, if somebody wanted to talk to you, if somebody wanted to invest with Karen or see what skill sets you have to bring to the table, how would they get a hold of you, Karen?
Reach out to me on Facebook for sure. Private message me there. Or my new email is Karen@integrityholdings.ca.
Cool. I like it. I like it. Karen at integrityholdings.ca. Awesome. Or reach out on Facebook. Love it. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for joining us. You did it. I hope it wasn't. So, that's awesome. And we'll talk to you soon in Laser.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. There's one example, guys. We have two more to come, and we're going to bring on Samir next. So, Samir, welcome to our Tactical Tuesday, and let's start at the very beginning, Samir. And if you can share with me when you first got invested in real estate, or let's say, has there been anything at any point that has maybe held you back? What fears have you had when it comes to investing in real estate?
Thank you for having me. So yes, for fears, getting into real estate, investing, the biggest fear for me was making a mistake. Making a mistake, and because it's about big numbers, big money we're talking about, and making a mistake and losing, potentially some of the money. So that was one of the big fears I had. It was supplemented by lack of knowledge. Like, I don't know enough about this. And also, how will I do it, kind of thing. Before even having a property, I had fear of property management. It was kind of giving me fears of water leakages, tenant not paying rent, and how will I handle all of that. So it's funny that I don't even have a property, but I have fears of property management somehow. So those were, I think, my major challenges. And there were like other things as well. I felt that I don't know what's the right property to look into. What if there is a foundation crack? What if there is an older building? Like, I really don't know what exactly to look for, what is called as an investment property. So those were my fear. I think I can sum it up as lack of knowledge and fear of making a mistake were two main
Awesome.
things.
Okay. And I think that many of our listeners, throw it in the chat, guys, if that resonates with you. Lack of knowledge, fear of making a mistake is something that maybe has held you back at some point. Throw that in the chat. I think that a lot of people will likely have those same fears, Samir. So let's now fast forward. So that's kind of when you were getting started. But have you, since you got started, have you been able to buy any investment real estate? Where are you now?
Yes, I have. I have three investment properties now,
Awesome.
and yes, so through those fears, trying to navigate through, and trying to find way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you had those fears that a lot of people have, and I see in the chat here a fear of making mistakes. It is there's a few that have said that. I hope I have not paused here, but I've okay. There we go. Now some of the chat's coming in. So yes, that's fairly common, Samir. A lot of others, and now you have gone to the point where you have 3 investment properties. So congratulations for getting over those fears. So what was it? If you could put your thumb on it, what were some of the things? What helped you get over those fears to get to the point to actually okay, so to buy 3 investment properties, you're signing offers, you're signing conditions away, you're signing mortgages. What got you to the point to have the confidence to be able to do all of those things?
So I think the biggest point thing is education. Trying to learn as much possible, joining different real estate groups, joining Ignited, taking all the sessions, and surrounding myself with like-minded people, as Karen mentioned. And so gaining education, understanding how the number works, what is the right type of investment, which market to go for, a lot of things that come from the education. I think mentorship helped me a lot, because another thing, lack of knowledge, I think, goes with lack of confidence. So mentorship helped me with getting more confident in what I was trying to do. um so yeah, that's the second thing. And again, the group, like Karen mentioned, a point that I resonate with a lot is when you're with like-minded people, because in day to day I'm working full time, I have a different job, and I don't talk real estate. And real estate is like a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
But now when I am part of a group, everybody talking real estate, doing similar kind of deals, and I am able to bounce back my ideas with like-minded people, some of them who have like done it so many times already. So it kind of gives that confidence as well. So yeah, let's say if I have to sum it up: education, mentorship, and being part of a group. Three things help me.
Amazing. What's your plans now, Samir? Are you done investing in real estate, and or do you have plans to continue buying? What are your plans now?
So right now, my plan is to buy another investment property before the end of the year. So that's one of my goal. And then in future, I'm looking at it as a step to open up, joint ventureship opportunities with my existing properties. Trying to create win-win relationship for others and myself as well.
Amazing. Are your current properties good investment properties? Did you make good decisions on those ones?
I believe so. The numbers make sense for now, so that's good.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. So Samir, I love it. I love the fact that you have a plan to buy one more by the end of the year. You have a plan to joint venture the ones you already own. And guys, for those of you that are listening that maybe want to invest in real estate, and buy or get invested into something that is already cash flowing, something that is already successful. It's not just predicted numbers. It sounds like Samir has some opportunities for you. So Samir, if somebody did want to invest with you, if somebody wanted to ask you some questions, how would they get a hold of you?
Facebook is the best place. So I'm on Facebook. I check every day. So just find me Facebook, message me, and I will be in touch with you.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Samir. Thank you for sharing the reality of the fears that you had, sharing with us how you got over them and where you are today and where you're going as well. And I hope the best for you. And I know we love having you in our Ignited program. As much as you have learned from others, others can learn from you too. And I think that there's a lot here tonight that are picking out certain things that will help them. So thanks, Samira. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we've had Karen, we've had Samir. They have both had fears. They have both gotten over their fears and had a measure of success. Do they still have goals as to where they're going? Absolutely. But they are seeing successes. And guys, it's all about getting that momentum going, getting that ball rolling. And once it starts rolling, that snowball starts going down the hill, it just starts to build and build and build, and things get easier and easier. And that's just the way that it works in this industry. We have one more interview we're going to do, and we're going to bring on Craig and Lisa O'Casey. Welcome, guys, to the show, and happy to have you here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, awesome. So let me ask you guys. I know you as well are Ignited members and part of our program, and I know that since seeing you come on, I know a little bit more about you guys than maybe a lot of others, because I've known you for years, or I've known Craig at least for years, and getting to know Lisa, which is awesome. But let's start at the beginning. When you first wanted to get into investment real estate, what would you say were some of the fears you had getting involved?
So I'll start by saying we have a general contracting construction company. So we've been doing renovations and building and all sorts of things for years for other people. As we're getting older and planning for our future, we're starting to think about, how do we take care of ourselves, and how do we do this for ourselves, and how do we invest our time and make our time count into our future and our kids' future. Long story short, somebody suggested that I team up or get a hold of Corey and Tiffany, and that would maybe be my missing link to do exactly what we're doing, but start doing it for ourselves.
Okay.
So obviously we connected, and about a month later, I guess, we took the boot camp. And within an hour or two, we knew that was the right place to be. That's exactly where we needed to be. And we wanted to become Ignited members. And that's what we did.
Here we are.
Amazing. So you run a general contracting company. So I would assume you don't have fears of, renovations. You don't have fears of maybe running the numbers as much as a lot of others would have. But let's go back to what was holding you back, because you knew you wanted to do this for others, but you didn't quite yet do it. So what was holding you back from pulling the trigger on your first investment property?
Fear. You guys have pretty much nailed it. Your intro was so good. I don't know if I can say much to it, but fear. We just didn't know how. We didn't have any mentorship. We didn't have any guidance. We didn't want to make mistakes at this point in our life. We wanted to be very, very careful for our future and our kids' future, as well as reputation is everything. So we have a reputation in the industry, and we didn't want to ruin it by not being educated enough to say that we were able to do something and then we couldn't, hold our promise or our word. So I guess fear of the unknown was our biggest fear.
And the other one was, we've always been taught, don't go in debt, don't go in debt, right? And so that was the big thing, is you're going to need to get into debt and partner with people to make this amazing process. And we're like, wow, what a big difference of what we've been taught to what we learned in boot camp. It was mind blowing. And then we were like, well, we're just two simple people, working people, too busy maybe to do this. That was our biggest fear. Do we even have time for this? So that was my drawback as being a mom. How am I going to do it? Who wants to invest in me, right? And so we took the course and we said, do we have the money to do this? Yeah, we have the money to invest in ourselves so we could have a future and a retirement someday. And that was the big learning thing, that we were worth it to do it. It had to start with us so we could help other people in our lives.
Amazing. I love that answer. And I think that there's a lot of people, throw it in the chat, guys, if this resonates with you, but I think that there's a lot of people that feel the same thing as you guys felt. And I love the fact you mentioned, if somebody is going to invest with you and you're going to want to raise capital, you kind of need to invest in yourself first, right? And you guys did that. And so congrats for doing that. So you had these fears that I think a lot of us have had at certain points, but now let's fast forward. Now we're not fast forwarding very far. This was back in March of 2022 when you joined us for boot camp. It is now October of 2022, so less than a year. Have you been able to make any progress to buying investment properties or partnering with anybody?
Yeah. So going back to your other question too, the fear of doing the renovation was not scary to me at all. The fear of the investment was with other people was scary to me because we're using other people's money. So we were kind of at the mindset that we could do one at a time because that's what we could afford, and we would do it with our own money, and that's what we were limited to. In fact, I thought people that were doing more than one or two at a time, I just couldn't imagine what their income was to be able to support this debt, right? And it was kind of mind blowing to realize that there was just so much more to it, and it was the networking part of it, and it was joining the right people. And I mentioned to you one time, Corey, I said I've invested so much time and energy in the wrong stock, and it didn't pay off. But if I invested that same amount of time and energy into this stock or this Ignited group, I think it'll pay off, and it has. So in the last 6 months, we bought our first property about five months ago?
Yeah, in May. And that was through networking.
Yes.
Through going through boot camp, we met a ton of people through Ignited, and that led to us meeting many people and getting that offer.
Yeah, so we met an Ignited member, and she had an assignment for us, and we ended up buying a duplex that we're now converting into a fourplex, or a suited duplex, as you would call it. And we're about 3/4 of the way through the entire place now. 2 tops are rented out, 2 bottoms are well on their way, and we're finally having fun. This feels like a light at the end of the tunnel for us, that we can really look forward to our future and us investing in ourselves.
Yeah. Amazing. I saw your post in Ignited recently. I think it was in Ignited, and it talked about, woohoo, you finally got approval for the other 2 suites. And I mean, those types of wins just get you excited, right? Like, it's just like, we're making progress. We're getting there. We're going to transform this property. We're going to do so much. So that's awesome. And I love it. So within a short period of time, you now will have 4 doors you're taking care of. And, you know, the fears that you had at the beginning, would you say are you fearless now, or are your fears lower than they were? Like, where are you taking on another project and going forward?
Yeah, so great question. Fear and anxiety do prevent all of us from doing what we want to do. What I've come to realize over the last little while is anxiety and excitement are the exact same emotion. One's positive, one's negative. And so, because we're involved in this group and we have mentoring and coaching and access to your unbelievable platform that of information that you've provided to us, as well as the amazing people involved in this, we don't feel anxious anymore. We feel excited. Um,
I think the big thing is the team around you, that it's like cheerleaders cheering you on every single day. If you want to be part of Tactical Tuesday or part of the Ignited group on Tuesday, you just get that community around you. And I think that's what we were missing in our life, is just cheerleaders saying, you can do it. If you have that fear, you have other people to ask, like analyzing property. I had no clue how to analyze a property. And then you can throw it on there and people can tell you yes or no, or am I worth it? Yeah, you're worth it. You can do it. It was a big aha moment for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. You know, it was the same for us through our entire investing career of now 20 years or so in investment real estate. It's always been about the team and the people that surround you and the positivity that you can be surrounded with. And so we're super happy to have you guys as a part of our Ignited group. And we love to see the fact that you're making progress, that you're excited about this and less anxious about this. That is amazing. And, you know, for everybody listening, you know, these guys have gone from being fearful and not pulling the trigger to now having this fourplex they're working on and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. And those are Craig's words. So, you know, these are progresses that you're making. And again, I know you haven't reached the pinnacle of where you want to go, but you have that snowball starting to roll, and it's going in the right direction. So what's your plan now, guys? You know, what's your next project? What's your plan? What are you going to be focusing a lot on over the next little while?
So our summers are very, very busy. Obviously, we have a seasonal business. It was extremely hard to do this fourplex while we were trying to run our business. So this winter, we're actually setting new goals, and we're looking to reinvest and network as much as we can, and really start opening the doors, because this is actually something that we are both really passionate about. And we hope that one day it takes over both of our jobs and we can do this as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we want to partner with people like Karen and Samir said, like-minded. And so joint venturing and working together and us being the working partner, we love to work with people and develop a great team, which we already have. We just want more people around us to succeed and see success. So
amazing. I noticed in the chat somebody, I can't see their name, but they said, my fear is doing the renovations. And that's well, there you go. This is somebody that you want to invest with, is somebody that will do the renovations and take care of all of that stuff. And
Can I just say one more thing about the team, Corey?
Yeah.
So I'd like to give everybody an example. I have a realtor that has become a very, very good friend of ours. And he's a very successful realtor. And when we were getting into this and talking about this Ignited and all sorts of things, he was he was skeptical about it. He was almost trying to talk us out of it. And we just didn't know who to believe. And as we fast forward, I didn't use him for a real estate purchase. I used an investor-focused realtor. And as you learn that you create the team around you is like-minded and going in the same direction as you, it becomes so much more clear. But if you have other people that are part of your team that are not on the same page and not going in the same direction, it becomes very foggy and complicated. So that was a super important part, was to make sure we were focused on assembling a team of like-minded people and being in a group of like-minded people and Ignited is home for us. We really don't need to look anywhere else. That's our place.
Yeah. Awesome point. Thank you for sharing that. It's so important to have to be surrounded by people that are, going the same direction or in the same circles, trying to accomplish the same goal, because then everybody is there to support one another. It's not a competition. It's let's help each other. Like Tiff says it all the time. When the tide comes in, all the boats rise together, and that's kind of the whole point of it. Is when you are a part of a group like that, it really helps. So we're happy to have you guys as a part of it. And I don't know if you can see it, but I see in the chat, woohoo, that's amazing. Wow, congratulations. Amazing. So awesome. Congratulations on this amazing progress. So yeah, a lot of people are happy to see you guys having a measure of success at this point. And so I know that you, and I know you didn't mention it, but you have a concrete company, you have a renovations company, you have a garlic growing company. You have all of these things going on. You have kids, you're doing investment real estate, and you're doing renovations. You're busy people, but you're still looking to work with others. You're still looking and open to bring on other partners. And I know it was mentioned to me earlier too that if somebody does need help with renovations or general contracting, that sort of thing in the Edmonton area, that you're a good contact for them to have. So if anybody wants to work with you, invest with you, use you as a contractor, whatever, buy garlic from you, whatever it might be, how do they get a hold of you guys?
So Facebook's a good start, and thank you for saying all that stuff. Yes, we are busy. I've always been told if you want to get something done, talk to a busy person, because they'll just find a way to make it happen. We are very busy family, but we're trying to focus most of our efforts on real estate investing, especially this winter. Best way to get a hold of us would be through Facebook or private messaging. For any of the contracting work, you can email me at craig@goliathconcrete.ca.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I think a lot of people resonate with some of the things that you're saying, and we appreciate having you in our Ignited group, and we look forward to seeing where this takes you guys. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Well, there we go, guys. We talked about a bunch of fears tonight. We talked about what holds us back. We talked about some of the ways to get over those fears. And we also talked to Karen, Samir, and Craig and Lisa and looked at their examples as to the fears they had, where they are now, the successes that they've reached, and how they got there. And one of the things that really stood out to me was the importance of networking, the importance of having a group around you that supports you. And that's what we do here in Fearless, guys. So thank you for being a part of this group. If you are interested in increasing your level of networking, that is really one of the major focuses of our boot camp, which starts on October 21st, October 21, 22. And we also have a session on October 24th. It's $27 if you register by midnight tonight. There's a workbook that goes along with that. We will be sending out homework prior to the boot camp. We're going to be going through so much information that we thought this time we need to send some of it out before boot camp. There's going to be a lot of networking. We're going to be having professionals in speaking on certain topics. It is going to be a boot camp a step above any boot camp that you have ever been to before, if you've been to one of our boot camps. And if you can't make it live that weekend, it will be recorded, and you will have access to that recording for 2 weeks after the boot camp. And of course, we will be offering a scholarship to our Ignited program. So one of our boot campers will get into our Ignited group, our mentorship program, absolutely free for 12 months. And so that is going to be offered to one of our boot campers. That could be you. So make sure you join us at our boot camp. Jules just put it in the chat, the link. It's very simple, guys, to register, and everything will be sent to you. You don't have to worry about a thing. And we start on October 21st. So hopefully you can join us for that. That will help you increase your network, guys. That will help you. We're going to be doing small breakouts, so you get to meet other investors, hear their stories, and share yours as well. And your network net worth is equal to your net work. So the more you increase that, the better it is for you. So hopefully we can see as many of you as possible into our boot camp. We have more registrations now than we have ever had for any boot camp to this point. So we're excited that this is going to be a big one. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a great chance to network. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully that gives you some key points to focus in on, and we will see you next week as well for another awesome Tactical Tuesday. But thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon.